We're in deep shit, literally. The World Health Organization predicts that chronic diseases will account for 3/4 of all deaths worldwide by 2020. The bad news is that our health is deteriorating fast. And the good news is that we can do something about it simply by looking at our poo. You might be wondering why on earth anyone would ever get up on a stage, let alone a TEDx stage, to talk about excrement. Now, I have to admit that it's really not my favorite topic in the world, but I really know my shit. The gut tells us so much, probably more than any one of us would want to know. It tells us something about our current health situation, and it also warns us about any chronic disease that might be lurking around the corner. The American physician and medical researcher Dr. David Perlmutter argues that an imbalanced gut flora can cause anything between Alzheimer's and autism. He works with patients who suffer from various chronic diseases, and he claims that they have seen dramatic improvements through dietary changes and stool transplants, which I'm sure you don't want me to elaborate on, and you can relax, I won't. I may look like somebody who has their shit together. That wasn't always the case. My own story relating to this whole poo subject started at the age of 2 months, when I was diagnosed with severe eczema, all kinds of allergies, asthma, and later on, anxiety. When I was a baby, the doctors wanted to tie me to my bed at the hospital because I scratched myself till I bled. My first 30 years were a constant battle against dry, itchy, and inflamed skin. And I've spent most of my life choosing an outfit based on how badly I have scratched myself the night before. Over the years, we saw a lot of doctors, and they all suggested the same thing: more cortisone and more antihistamines. Now, I do have a lot of respect for Western doctors, but somehow it seemed a little strange to me that they all had the same message. Live with it, a chronic disease is a chronic disease. In 2010, I was really fed up with my health situation, and I was willing to do pretty much anything to get rid of a broken skin and a very broken mental image of myself. So I decided to go to India to get treatment. And boy, was I oblivious to the shit that was about to hit the fan. The Indian Ayurvedic system approach is holistic, meaning that they see the body as a whole and everything is connected. For those of you who don't know Ayurveda, it's the ancient medical science of India, and it's been around for thousands of years. My doctors immediately told me that my body was severely imbalanced, but not chronically ill. Next thing, I found myself in a very strange situation where I was asked to share the consistency of my poo, what it looked like, the exact shape of it, and so on. This was me at 6:30 every single morning. Trust me, you really get used to it quite quickly. Within 1 month, my doctors had managed to reset my digestion, making me go to the bathroom at the exact same time every single day. And suddenly, that lifelong itchiness started to fade magically. The key to great bathroom success is set routines, good sleep, and a very strict diet, which is why I ate cooked mung beans, green leafy vegetables, and fresh papaya for 2 months straight without exception. This very temporary lifestyle helped my body flush out toxins, medicine, and all of that stress that had completely taken over my life. I then reintroduced produce into my diet, and today I eat pretty much whatever I want to, but still tend to stay away from dairy and wheat as they mess up my stomach and make my skin itchy. Today I'm balanced, finally, and my body shows very little signs of having any chronic disease. I don't take any synthetic medicine anymore, and I spend my life helping others help themselves. And that starts with understanding the real power of poo. My own experience has led me to believe that there is a way to treat disease differently. I now know that it's possible to recognize when something is wrong before the symptoms have started to show, and before an imbalance has caused something as severe or more severe than the health issues I had. The thing is, your digestive system knows, and it tells you off again and again. It literally shows you that something isn't right. I think we've all had our fair share of diarrhea, constipation, bloating, gas, and those are all signs of a big internal revolt. So, what do we do with all these signs if we don't know what they mean? Think about it. We've never really been encouraged to look at our poo ever since we learned to sit on a toilet independently. You know, you do your thing, you flush the toilet, and you never look back. Let's take a quick look at poo and what it consists of. 75% of it is actually just water. The remaining 25% is a mix of bacteria, leftover medicine, vegetable fiber, and cholesterol that the body wants to dispose of and that it can't use anymore. That's it. The Bristol stool chart is one of the oldest and the most well-known ways of identifying what our poo should look like. I've taken the liberty of displaying these images in a slightly more modern and, let's say, emotional way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the juicy bit. Let me present type 1 poo, also known as painful constipation. It passes through your system in about 100 hours. That's 4 days. Your poo shows you how you're doing. You're designed to poo every single day. And if you don't poo every single day, you can only imagine what that means. It's disgusting. Your body slowly starts to reabsorb all of those substances that it initially wanted to get rid of. And that has a lot to do with all of those inexplicable diseases we're faced with today. It's not only about long-term disease. Short-term constipation makes you sluggish, maybe you're easily irritated and anxious. No wonder though, because you're carrying a lot of shit. Try adding prebiotic fiber to your diet to make your poo more porous and to amplify the good bacteria in your gut. And remember that fresh papaya that I mentioned earlier? Well, let's just say it does the trick. Type 2, number 2, same shit, different name. Not a happy face. Better, but still very lumpy and hard. Note that your poo is a great communicator, and in this case, it tells you that you're dehydrated, which really isn't a bad thing unless you don't take the hint. Your constipation might also be showing you that you're not chewing your food well enough. The rule is 15 to 30 times per bite, which is a lot, I know. Try sticking to smoothies and soups for a day or two to make your poo firmer, to make your poo more porous and to ease your digestion. And remember to take care of yourself, and those prunes that we've all heard about for years are probably one of the oldest tricks in the book still. Type 3 is good shit. Your stomach is making you proud, and this cracked sausage, it shows you that your digestion is working well. Good job. So this is it, the model child, the slippery banana, the ideal offspring, and what we should be taking selfies of. I love the banana. It just makes me smile. And I would even go as far as saying that it makes me proud because I know that what I produced in the bathroom is a direct reflection of how well I've managed to take care of myself. The slippery banana is a lot like toothpaste with an optimum ratio of solid and fluid content. You probably won't have to wipe yourself after it. That's how smooth it is. Type 5 poo is early stage diarrhea. There's no need to panic just yet, but go easy on the raw steaks and the sugar. When you're stressed or get affected by bacteria, your body goes into defense mode and your intestines stop functioning, meaning that they don't absorb any nutrients. And because of this, the fluid is washed out of you in no time. Type 6 is one step closer to diarrhea. Think about going to the bathroom after a big night out. It's not exactly pretty. And it's because we've stuffed ourselves with toxins. It's actually really logical to get that reaction. Holy crap! Type 7 is full-on diarrhea. And you desperately need to drink more water because it passes through your system in 10 hours only and you're losing a lot of liquids. Long-term diarrhea can become really dangerous because it affects the body and it prevents it from absorbing the nutrients it needs to function well. In this case, you also probably need to reassess your current health situation and get to the bottom of what is causing a constantly upset stomach. Short-term diarrhea can be cured by simplifying your diet and sticking to bananas, boiled rice, and white toast to make your poo firmer. Also note that your body isn't storing or getting enough fuel, which means that you're probably more tired than usual. Get some rest. And be aware of the fact that your poo shows you how you're doing mentally and emotionally. Now that you know what to look for, I also want you to know that you have full control over your body and your eating habits. Do me a favor. Take a look at your shit. Look really closely and let me know. Drop me an email. You know that I love the type 4 banana. But on a more serious note, this is your life and this is your health. We manically track what we eat, when we sleep, and how much we work out every single day through apps and smartbands and all sorts of high-tech devices. Yet, we've completely forgotten about the simplest way of keeping track of our immediate health. Isn't it time that we start tracking our poo as well? By now, you might think that I've gone completely nuts. That's okay. But imagine a world where we all have the power to take care of ourselves simply by looking at our poo, eating well, and maintaining healthy habits. That's some serious shit. Thank you.